Aloha. Welcome. It is about 3:02 p.m. I'm Mikkel Anna, and this is Intuitive Talk Story. It is, what is today? April 8th, I believe. April 8th. Yes, April 8th, 2026. And today we're going to get into some fun topics around emotional energy. So before we do that, in the vein of Intuitive Talk Story, we're going to take a moment to drop in and come into some mind, heart coherency. So if you can and you're not doing an activity, just take a moment to close your eyes and breathe and bring yourself fully present into this now moment. Grounding into the earth, letting your roots dig deep into the core. Envisioning yourself connected, earthed, present. Connected to the God of your heart, the top of your head. Releasing anything you do not need in this now moment. All people, places, things, energies, computers, devices, AI, locations, just releasing it all to its rightful place in the light. You might take a nice breath and just bringing yourself into now to be present, for us to listen and commune in this space, this radio land. New information, or perhaps information you're familiar with, but just having an open mind. And of course, take what you need, leave the rest. Whatever works for you, whatever resonates in your world. So some gratitude. Mahalo nui loa Ke Akua. Thank you to beloved Creator God, Great Spirit, for this opportunity to be together. Mahalo. So today it's just me, Mikkel Anna Carrillo, and today we're going to be talking about what is Loosh. We're going to talk about Loosh in all sorts of forms. So what is Loosh? Have you guys heard about Loosh? Do you know what that term means? It was first coined, I believe, by a man named Robert Moore. I might be getting that. Robert Monroe. I'm not super familiar with his specific work, but he did coin this phrase. And it's really talking about emotional energy. Yeah, Robert Monroe. And that was in like the 70s. So emotional life force, emotional energy to create with or to destroy with. And these days, we can see that our Loosh can be used in positive ways or negative ways. And right now in the worldscape, the reason I wanted to talk about this is because we are producing Loosh constantly with our emotions and our intentions and our energy. And that can be used for positive creation, or it can be used in an unconscious way when we aren't using it properly, when we're not really being aware, we're throwing our energies around per se. And there's a lot of stuff, and we've talked about this kind of thing before. Energy flows where attention goes. Where do we want to put our energy? Where we're putting our energy matters in the creation of the world that we want to live in. So often we think of Loosh as manifestation mana, like our mana to manifest, to create with. It's the nourishing substance that creates realities. It's also, food for the cosmos. We, in the unconscious, we're either conscious or unconscious chefs in the kitchen, cooking up our energy and creating new innovative things, or we're feeding things that don't really give us maybe peace or presence. So we want to be aware of what we're doing with our emotional energy. It's like our emotional currency. And this is the stuff that dreams are made of. It's the stuff that wars are made of too. So when we see out there in the world things that are touting, war and destruction, it's easy to get upset, right? It's easy to feel engaged. And when we see what's going on with our Hawaiian Islands, the weather patterns, the things that have happened, the devastation. It's easy to get angry, to be upset about what we're seeing, what we're feeling, the atrocities, the injustices. But that anger or that frustration isn't going to serve us. It's actually counterproductive to that which we all want or what we might think we want, right? So because here's the deal. Energy is, whether I'm giving you good or bad energy, it's energy. In many ways, I'm still putting it towards that. So if I'm putting out negative energy, anger, I'm still giving power to that thing. So we don't want to give power to the destructive forces. We don't want to give power to separated energies. We want to create a new world, a world that is full of joy, peace, harmony, connection, living as Ohana, living in our aloha spirit, sharing and communing with one another, respect, integrity. These are things that sound a lot more fun than living in a place where we're fighting one another or having despair, right? So energy flows where attention goes, and where we're putting our energy is of utmost importance. We could think of kind of like the big game that we're in. It's kind of like, where can I take you and make you react? Okay, if I pull you over here, and can I get a reaction out of you? If I come over here, can I get a reaction? If I can get a reaction, haha, game over, I win. And so we don't want to give any reactions. We want to respond to life and make clear, conscious, energetic choices so that we are co-creating together versus reacting and throwing our energy all over the place. So in an unconscious way, we give away this creative life force experience. After you might experience this after you've been talking to someone, you feel really exhausted. Sometimes after I've been in school teaching, I can feel really tired and wiped out, like, woo. And it's mostly because I didn't maintain my tools. I like to talk about those tools. I didn't keep my energy present. Instead, I'm just giving it away. That we want to become energy managers. We want to manage our energy and be conscious of what we're doing with it. So that might see, like, you talk to somebody, you're telling them this or that, you feel really tired, and they walk away feeling great. They've just used that energy, that loosh, that emotional energy that you've given. You might feel depleted, but they feel wonderful. And so they've utilized that life force energy, your loosh, to bring them back into a state of harmony. Now, we don't have to lose our energy to help someone. And that gets into not using our own energy if we are, like I like to say, sourcing the flow and flowing the source. So in that framework, you're not using your personal emotional energy, which is more what the loosh is about. It's like our emotional energy that we're creating, and we're passion and, our creative life force that we're tapping into these different feelings. Whereas if we're sensing into source, we're flowing direct source energy, and it's limitless, it's infinite, and we never get drained because we're not pulling from our personal self, our personal mana. We are tapping in to the unified field of everything that is, and we're allowing ourselves to receive and to be a conduit of the infinite energy of God's source energy, of that which is all things, the life-giving principles, the life-giving energies. So when we are, loosh can be harvested. You might have heard that term before, by negative forces, that which is separated. So in essence, everything that's destroying or is in destructive principles, it doesn't have any energy of its own. It's like a vampire. It can only eat the energy that we give it. So let's say back to what's going on out in the world. If I'm see the atrocity and I can think like, oh, that guy, I'm so pissed, I'm so mad at they're doing this to us, that this is happening. And like I said, it's easy to do because they are great injustices. However, I'm just producing loosh. I'm producing an energy. These negative energies that now I'm like really fired up about is just now become food for vampires, in essence, for the things that aren't connected to God. So you can think of that in lots of ways: entities, spirits, aliens, however you perceive the world. But there are separated forms, denser energies that are not connected to source itself, to God, to the energy of love, to the energy of life. And that, because they're not connected to that, they basically feed on the living. They feed on us, infinite batteries. We have life force energy. So we get the opportunity to lift our consciousness out of the denser field and to not give our mana to these things that are not serving. It's not to say that it's okay what's happening out there. You're not giving permission. We still hold accountable all people. It's just that you're not going to get me riled up. I can hold you accountable. I can say, hey, you need to take responsibility. I don't have to have you over for dinner. I don't have to entertain you. I don't have to give my energy to you. But I also don't want to give your energy in any way of getting mad, because me getting mad at you is me giving my energy. And you can think of it that way. Like, that guy doesn't even deserve your anger, because, well, he's nothing. He doesn't even deserve for me to be angry at that being, because that just gives them power, in essence. So it's like removing your energy from it is in fact doing more, because you're starving it. You're starving that spirit of greed, that spirit of lust, that spirit of destruction, the spirit of rage. We're starving those things from having dominion or power here in this realm or in your life. It starts with our personal self and our own, core familial network. Then it reaches out to the people that we maybe work with, that we connect with on a daily basis, and then going outward from there to everything we're thinking and creating, putting our thoughts to. And just because you don't say it out loud doesn't necessarily mean you're not producing that energy. So this doesn't mean to bottle our feelings inside, because we have to acknowledge what we're feeling. You might say, you know what, I'm starting to feel really angry about this. I want to transform that. I want to alchemize that energy and transmute it. So I'm going to take all my anger and I'm going to go into my meditation or into my sacred space or into my place where I'm quiet, however you think of that. I'm going to make a cosmic fire, and I'm just going to give all that energy into the cosmic fire. And I'm going to intend that it be transmuted into something positive. I'm going to see with my energy, maybe I'm going to take that energy. Maybe I need to go scream. Okay. I'm going to scream off the cliff outside and but as I'm doing that, I'm like, seeing that energy gets funneled into positivity, that it changes the scape, that it goes forward to make something better. But I acknowledge how I feel. I recognize the anger that is definitely have every right to feel, right? I mean, we are seeing some really crazy things happen in our islands that are not right. And it's, again, it's hard not to feel like, whoa, I'm pissed, or I'm, these people, the bug or whatever. But we need to channel that energy into positivity, into into creative forces. And I love to see like all the different ohanas on the islands coming together to help one another to rebuild, right? That there's a lot of people on social media, talking about things that you can do to help yourself with the mold, with the waterways, with things that are going to be real things that are happening in this moment. How do we choose a positive course of action? So in essence, we're taking that iron ore and we're transmuting it into gold. We are transmuting our feelings into something that's workable, into a framework that gives us life, that creates the world we're really wanting. We're making a choice to shift our energy into a creation paradigm rather than feeding the continual destruction. Take a deep breath. And so, like, in essence, think of it out there. Anything that's trying to destroy, it wants you to get riled up. It's like, yeah, bring it on. Look at what's happening. It seems so crazy, right? Like, it wants us to react. It wants us to get involved. When I say it, I'm just speaking of the separation. I'm not getting into specific archons or entities or any of that per se. There's a lot of different facets to the separated energies that, in essence, it doesn't even exactly matter. What matters is that we don't want to give dualistic thinking or separated form our attention and energy. So that also goes back to how we perceive one another and humanity. You can start there by realizing it's not a game of, my culture, your culture, what are you, black, white, red, yellow. It's not about that. It's about humanity as a whole, like connection to life. Every being that is connected to life is really our brother and sister. And so if we can get that and see that, we've been placing maybe our energy on the wrong thing, on the wrong person, on the wrong subject, that it's not about that guy over there. It's about all of us coming together and about giving life to life. And that all those that are trying to or are putting their energy towards creation is a win, that we're, as a humanity, we stand in unity for that which is human, that which is striving for a creative principle. So, and that's a choice we each make inside of ourselves. That shift is now, in essence, and we all have the opportunity to choose it. So think about that for a moment while I play you this really cool song. It's by an artist called Kisa Soul, and it speaks to what I'm talking about.
The shift is now, tomorrow, not later. Now when the world tells me I'm ready, I am ready. I am aligned, I am present. Every fear I released, every moment of calm I claimed, every breath I took with intention has led me here. The old way is gone, the hustle for approval is over, the chase for external validation is finished. I create from the inside out, I manifest from a place of peace. I step into abundance because my energy is sovereign. The shift isn't in the world, it's in the alignment of my mind, heart and soul. I am calm and clear, I am clear, I am unstoppable. The universe responds to energy, not noise. The cosmos flows to those who embody it. And I am flowing, I am aligned.
shift is now. You're listening to KNKR LP 96.1 FM Kohala. And like to say here, the opinions, beliefs, and views of the host do not necessarily reflect those of KNKR or their affiliates. We're talking about Loosh today. We're talking about emotional energy and where we put our energy matters. How do we want to co-create consciously in this now time that we are in? So that song brings up, shifting into peace, into abundance, into creative force, not from the energy of, doing currency and what's out there, but from the viewpoint of what's inside ourselves, not looking out there to get our answers, but going within. And going within is, I like to say there's no way out but in. It's really the only game in town. We have to be at peace within our eternal living selves before we can find peace outside of ourselves. If we keep reaching for something out there, we will sorely be disappointed. It's that carrot, if you know that story of the dangling carrot that continues to evade us. We keep reaching and reaching and reaching. So our best bet is to heal and be in charge of our energy currency, in charge of our emotional output, the loosh that we are creating with our emotional selves, and decide where it's going, decide how we're using it versus being unconsciously just making a bunch of noise and throwing it all over the place, which is not going to serve us, right? So I talk a lot about emotional tools and healing emotional wounding. That's ultimately how we get free, is by healing our emotionality and healing the pain. Everyone has pain in some form. You're not alone. We've all been through a lot of stuff. And this is kind of like eons of stuff. This has been a long, long ride for humanity as far as, getting out of a much greater slumber that we've all been in for thousands and thousands of years. So mini Star Wars, you might say, and maybe you're familiar with what I'm talking about. And if not, it's okay. The opportunity is now to move out of this slumber, to come up above water, and to birth into a new time, and to really take the rise from the ashes of our despair and decide to transmute it into something beautiful. What do we want to co-create? How do we want to co-create together? Where do I want to put my energy? So we're going to take another little break, listen to a couple beautiful promos here, public service announcements, and we'll be right back with more Intuitive Talk Story. We're back with Intuitive Talk Story, and I've got a caller here that I'm going to try and bring on the air, see if I can do this. All right, so that was a caller. Unfortunately, I couldn't really make that happen to have all of you here. But we're talking about Loosh, talking about emotional energy, and we're talking about creating our reality together. I'm Anna. You're listening to Intuitive Talk Story. It's about 3:31 on April 8th, 2026. And emotional energy. How do we manage this, Loosh? How do we deal with it and deal with each other? And really, we got to get whole, right? We got to do the inner work, the internal work, so that we can then show up the way we want, managing our energy, managing how we move and groove with one another, and being aware that we're actually multidimensional beings who have so much capacity, that we're all amazing, awesome, incredible beings with infinite life force and infinite capacity. So, one place we can stop selling ourselves short every time you think, oh, I can't do that. Or, I was at school earlier today, and the kids often are like, oh, I cannot. Like, I cannot yet, like if you think touching your toes is hard right now, it's not going to get easier in 10 years. It's going to get harder. So if you don't use it, you lose it. So we want to use our faculties. We want to groove new neural pathways in our brain. We want to expand and open up our consciousness, open up to more of our capacity, not sell ourselves short. So time put in, if we just focus our energy and our emotions towards what it is we are wanting to create versus what it is we do not want to create. So that means we need to be kind of vigilant about managing our thoughts and knowing that we have this precious life force energy, this loosh, our mana that we are putting out all the time. We did an exercise today actually in school where I had a young person come up to me like they're saying hello to me. And then I turned away like, oh, I don't want to talk to you. Like I walked away, like I ignored them. And you could feel the immediate drop in the beings in her body. I said, so how did that feel? She said, sad. I don't feel good at all. And I said, right. Okay, now do it again. Like you're pretending like you're seeing me at the store. And then I saw her and I said, oh, I'm so excited to see you. I give her a hug. And now immediately there's just joy. She's giggling. And she said, I said, how does that feel? Really good, really happy. Yeah, that's how powerful we each are. We have the power to create or to evoke something really negative within a split second. And we're doing this all the time, whether it's with other people, whether with it's ourselves. Often it's with ourselves, right? We're putting ourselves down. If you're hearing a voice in yourself that says you cannot or you suck or any of those things, that's not you. That's an energy looshing your energy, getting you to give it power. Those spirits of attachment I was just talking about earlier, spirit of greed, spirit of lust, spirit of rage, anger, of, programs that run, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not loved. All that's coming from different pain. We've all experienced pain. Sets in kind of this program, this thought form belief that we begin to buy into if we don't unwind it. The great news is we can all unwind these programs. We can free ourselves from these things. We do not have to be ruled by these energies, by these separated forms in all sorts of different manners. We can choose to move into a higher consciousness by going within ourselves and doing this inner work to create a balanced nervous system and a balanced emotional body, mental body. You're dealing with different bodies. We've got, about 7 bodies that make up your body. And each of these is regulating an aspect of the self. So we're talking a lot about the emotional body, which produces quite a bit of mana. Ultimately speaking, we want to heal each piece of ourself and then move into more of our sensing self, which is back to that direct connect, sourcing the flow, flowing the source, letting God's source energy move through us. We're not engaging in reaction. We're responding to life. We're flowing with life. We're allowing the magic of life to flow with us and to move through us. And this is where we get to have really juicy fun and get to co-create a lot of yumminess on the planet together. And that's what we want. We don't want this destruction or these crazy things we see out there. So stop giving your energy to it. In fact, see the weather we want. See the beings protected. See us having what we need and want as a people. Power to the people. We are the power. And what we decide and put our energy to, even us saying, oh, another storm's coming, we're creating. We are creating it again. Do we want to create that story, or do we want to create a different story? One where we're like, no, we're all holding the energy that our weather is in natural cycles, natural life-giving cycles. This gets into how we frame our speech, right? We're often moving from a place of dualistic thinking where we're fighting against something. And that, even in that, we're leaping from the wrong place. We want to move into a place where we're leaping from a unified field. We're leaping from our highest expression versus leaping from a place where we're pushing against something because we're still giving it energy in some form. And when you start really stalking your mind, stalking your words, stalking how you speak to the self, you really get to see, oh my gosh, I'm doing it again. Oop, I'm doing it again. I'm giving power to this fragmented reality versus choosing to move into a unified field. So it takes our effort. You know, we've been programmed in so many ways to do something else that we really need to make a choice to move into a higher framework, to balance and breathe and choose a different reality. So take a breath, think about that for a moment. I'll play you another song. I'm loving this artist, Kisa Soul. You can find her on Spotify. But check out this song, another one for you.
My nervous system is red. Every breath I take deposits peace into my spirit. I move different now, slower, softer, wiser. No rush, no chase, just great. Yeah, in my calm, in my breath, in my rest, I'm rich. In my joy, in my flow, in my yes, I'm rich. I don't chase validation, nah, that's so new. I don't invest in chaos, nah, that's broke energy. My mind, a garden guard, my heart a vault, my body a whole bank of blessings. I'm wealthy in patience, abundant in stillness, overflowing in presence. Every pause pays interest. Listen, my peace compounds daily, my clarity multiplies. Luxury ain't in diamonds, it's in the way I breathe and how I protect my energy. Yeah. My nervous system remembers safety, my soul knows overflow. I ain't just surviving, I'm sovereign, I'm divine currency, I'm rich for real.
Rich in my nervous system, peace compounds daily. That's what I'm talking about. You listen to KNKR LP 96.1 FM. I'm Anna Carrillo. This is Intuitive Talk Story. I hope you are enjoying this talk about Loosh and creating our reality and about our emotional energy and creating a different story as we manage our energy, as we choose a different way of moving and grooving. I play this music for you because it's a great way to reprogram your mind. You know, listen to things that are empowering you. If you check out what a lot of the songs that we're hearing are talking about, I mean, how many songs have I heard about heartbreak and about like not having what I want? I listened to a lot of that growing up. I was lamenting or, noticing after I had some of my own heartbreaks, right? I've been through a lot of dark stuff myself, which is why I can talk about this stuff now. And so I was going, wow, did this song, I totally understand the darkness of this song now. And do I understand it because I sang it all the time when I was a teenager and then I created it? Or do I just now understand it? Either way, I don't want to give power to these words anymore. This isn't the world I want to create. We're unconsciously singing all these songs that have Well, a lot of stuff in it we don't want to create. I don't want to create that way. And when we're singing, we're also engaging in that loosh. Are my emotions involved? I'm belting at the top of my lungs. I'm feeling the energy, right? So if I'm going to belt a song out, I'm going to feel the energy. Let it be music and words that are inspiring, that are creating where I want to go, not what I don't want. So back to managing our energy, realizing that you've got all this energy that you're creating all the time with your mana is the first step. And then I got to do something about it, right? I want to be a good steward of my energy, just like I want to be a good steward of the land, a good steward of whatever you are given. If you can't be a good steward of what you are given, why should you receive more? I'm going to say that again. If we can't be good stewards of what we're given, why should we receive more? So I have to first manage my divine temple, that which I am, so that more abundance, more joy, more peace can come in to my framework, right? So breathing is a great way to begin that process. If you're like, I don't know where to start, just start with breathing deeply into your body. Many of us are breathing very shallow. I often, when I'm working with clients, I'm a body worker and do transformative, multidimensional spiritual work, and I also teach dance. So breath is huge. We want to breathe down into our belly. Breathe it up. Try it right now. Breathe. Take a deep breath into your belly. Fill it all the way up to your lungs. Keep going as far as you can, like you're trying to fill up your head with breath. Keep pushing it all the way up. You should feel like, oh, it's like that. And then go slow. Don't just go, huh. Go slow with your breath, pushing it down. You might like make a sound from the back of your throat that it helps you to manage the breath and feel it slowly trickling back down through all of the ventricles. We want it to go through the ventricles and the lungs. We want to feel that breath moving and pushing all the way down. It's cleansing the organs. It's cleansing the system as you breathe and let it move out of the body. So if you do a number of cycles of that deep breath, you'll notice like, wow, that's doing something. You can cleanse your ribs, the sides, where we hold a lot of emotional gunk is in these ribs. On your sides are sore, or you feel if you touch like right above your above your armpit in the front, if that feels like ouch, that's you're plugged in. You're plugged into something. What am I plugging into? I don't want to plug into anything. So some basic tools, and these I have lots of shows on this stuff and meditations on the YouTube channel. You can find replays of our shows, by the way, via the radio station on Spotify under Intuitive Talk Story. You can also find them on my channel along with meditations with all these tools, which is at Michaelanna Love, MichaelannaLove. And so tooling is about taking time to sit with yourself, breathe, and put your mind to what it is you're wanting, to managing yourself. Cutting cords, connectors, agreements. What does that mean? It means releasing anything that we've said yes to unconsciously that is probably a no. And that can be a lot of things these days. Just getting your password. You forgot your password on your email. You've checked the box. You've agreed to some terms that are nebulous on somewhere that we don't even see. That is meaningful. Like your energy is valuable, like you're seeing now. Your emotional energy, your energy is mana, and it is valuable. That which is separated doesn't have it. So it wants yours. And so we want to manage that energy like, oh, no, you're not getting my energy. So as soon as I click the box, yes, I'll take the password or whatever, I sever that agreement. And you can do these things very quickly throughout your day. I just sever any agreements I've made just now with that entity of the password, the Google or whatever. Thank you. I bring it back to myself. I call back my own mana, my own energy. It's not for anyone to be looshing or using for their terms. we are often manipulated into giving our energy away. The computers, the devices, the AI are really good at doing that. Not to say that, tools are not great. It's, the devices can be great for certain things. Problem is, it's taking the minds of people. They're not just using it as a tool, it's becoming the all end. And that is pulling people's energy deeply into these systems, which is feeding the beast, per se. If you wanted to think of the separation as anything concrete, think of it as the big machine, the grand machine that has no feeling and is literally, in many ways, do we want to give power to that? Do we want to build more data? And on a physical level, do we want to build more data centers? Do we want those data centers? We don't think about where your breakfast photos are stored, and all the posts that we're making, all the things that all the AI and info we're giving it, that has to be backed up. You're getting more cloud storage. Where do you think that's going? It's going into some data center, which are being built often these days, which we want to not give our energy to. We want to see a data free center, no data centers. We may let our minds and our memories be the data centers and allow natural life to take place, because those buildings or those machines, there's tons of machines in those things, and it's using up our resources. It's using up our water and our electricity, and a lot the water, right? We think about clean water, and you remember those dystopian films about not having enough water, and all these different things. Well, we watched a lot of these movies. I'll bring this up again: Terminator, The Matrix, Wall-E. They were all warnings of how do we want to live our lives? What do we want to put our energy into? It's not being done to us. We are choosing it with our dollars, our actions, our deeds, how we're thinking, what we're putting mana into. So let's all do a better job, me included. I utilize some of these things, so to go more analog, where you were going to pick up the device or get an answer from that, go more analog, use the brain, groove some neurons. Let's keep creating a world where we have competent, capable, amazing humans who are innovative and are creating consciously with our intention, with our emotionality, with our minds. So we become master managers of our energetic currency. Shout out to all of you becoming master managers of energetic currency, that we're aware of where I'm putting my energy, how I'm using it, and for what, right? Take another deep breath. Woo! Yeah, I love this, and for all of you who are tuned in today, thank you for joining me. We're gonna, before we end today, we got about 10 minutes, but towards the end here, I'm going to activate with us all a prayer, quote unquote, an affirmation, a reclamation that's going around through the islands and greater. If you would like to receive it, I'd be happy to share it with you. You can email me at mikaelanalove@gmail.com. It is a prayer that we're activating for the next 21 days to just claim authority over the world we want to see, and putting our energy towards the positive. And we're speaking it daily. There's 2 different times that it can be spoken. One is 4, so we're going to do that close to 4 p.m. today, before we do an encore presentation of Stereo Gab today. So taking a nice deep breath and kind of let's review what we've talked about today. We've talked about what is Loosh, our emotional energy, the energy, life-giving principle, cosmic mana that's can be used in negative or positive purposes. In the positive way, we are managing it. We are putting it where we want. We're speaking to the world we'd like to create. We're not feeling helpless or overwhelmed or frustrated or giving ourselves to lower vibratory feelings, but instead, when we have opportunity, we're choosing to shift it to a higher framework. Which brings up, you might say, well, I'm just so pissed. I'm so frustrated. I'm so angry. I don't know how to get out of that. So number one tool to getting out of anything, gratitude. Gratitude is a really great way to jump the ladder. If I can do nothing else, I can be thankful that I have a hot shower. I can be thankful that I have a roof over my head. I can be thankful that I have a family member. I can be thankful that I've eaten today. There's a million things to be thankful for. Just choosing a few of those or one of those that resonates for you can immediately shift your game. So if you think about that vibratory ladder, if I'm in a low energy of anger, despair, shame really vibrates at the lowest level. And gratitude is more up there in the 500, 600s. So I'm going to even out. So if I'm at like negative 50 and I go to gratitude, well, now I'm jumping up to some neutrality to, the 250s, 300. I'm getting up the ladder. We're averaging out. So if I can grab on to a positive emotion, that'll help me move out of any negative emotion. It's like when someone just make you laugh and all of a sudden you feel better, right? Because you've jumped up the ladder into joy, into something fun. And that, now that really negative thing doesn't seem so bad. So use whatever you have to get you to move out of that place. And then that gets into some of this stalking the mind and utilizing tools, using meditations to pick up your pearls, I like to say, which are the fragments of our selves that we've dropped places due to pain. We drop something, and I did a really great show on this, Shifting Your Perspective, part 1, which just a couple weeks ago, it is on my channel. And then we followed up with Shifting Your Perspective, part 2, different ways that we give power away and ways to take it back. So those are 2 really recent shows that are really speak to the emotionality, and I really break down the emotional work in that first one, and picking up your pearls and how to do that. You'll also find a meditation called Pick Up Your Pearls on the channel. So, and that's on YouTube. So yeah, we want to own the game and take charge of our emotional body, take charge of what we're putting our energy towards. So we also spoke about power to the people. You are the power. We are the power. Let us remember that we're all in it together. It's really about humanity being a collective force versus pointing the finger at one another. I didn't get into this too much today, but I'll mention it here. Victim, victimizer, Christ crucifixion, and maybe we'll do a show on those programs and how they operate next time. But they're really heavily running in this planet. And you can kind of tell what those are by the titles: blame games, crucifying the self, martyrism. And we get involved in those again based in a wound. I have a wound, and then it makes an opening for one of these programs or beliefs to come into play, and then separated energies basically hitch a ride through that hole and then start feeding through the energy I give it. So if I don't feel good enough, then I have a little voice going, you're not good enough, you're not right. That voice isn't me. It's an energy, a fragmented format that I've given power to, that I need to take my power back from. In order to do that, I have to find the memory or the piece that might be holding that in place, that program. If I can get back to where it first set in, I can pull it, kind of like when you're gardening, right? You pull it from the root. If I keep trying to cut it, doesn't exactly work. It just grows back. So we want to get to the root and pull it up, and then put in what it is we really want by activating things like these songs, things that really enliven us and give power to what we're wanting to choose, not what we're not wanting to choose. So it has already been almost an hour here. Time sure flies. Boy, I can talk. I hope that you've enjoyed this, that has been meaningful and that you've learned something today and had a lot of morsels to chew on in your own mind candy for living the life that you want to live, for stepping into more freedom, into more ownership of joy and peace in your experience. So before we leave here, I'm going to read this prayer. And if you can feel with your emotional energy, and we can use it for a positive force, we can together collectively change the world. I fully believe that. So let us together take a breath, feel these words, resonate in yourself. It's a prayer of remembrance and reclamation. In reverence and gratitude, we call upon the presence and power of the one holy source within and without, that which sustains and nourishes all that is. We honor original creation, all that has come before us, and all that is meant to be here now. Please bathe us in the rivers of remembrance of our Genesis. Show us how to live in harmony with one another and all life. Activate our collective hearts and minds to the highest good for all. We are grateful for the bounty that our fertile and fully mineralized soils provide. We give thanks for the life-giving rains, cleansing winds, pure waters, and healthy oceans full of life. We utilize our free will to vision and co-create abundance, freedom, and peace on this earth and beyond. We are grateful to live unified, sovereign, and free, with all life thriving, respected, and valued now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is lovingly decreed. Take a nice breath. Thank you for joining me today for this episode of Intuitive Talk Story. I'm Mikkel Anna, and I look forward to being with you again next week. Go forth and create, as we are all beautiful, powerful creators. May we choose to manage our divine energy and create the world we'd like to see with our thoughts, minds, and deeds in each and every moment. Mahalo and aloha.